Tech Talks daily podcast, a place where I interview tech leaders, CEOs, entrepreneurs, futurists, technologists, thought leaders, and even the occasional celebrity about how they are leveraging technology to transform their business. And today I've invited Wes Eugene, CIO of IDEO, onto the podcast. Now, IDEO is a global design company, but they believe a better future is for all of us to design. And I must admit, I'm as guilty as anyone of getting distracted by shiny new technology and tech trends, etc. Also, with great power comes great responsibility, right? So I want to explore organisational transformation, how organisations can evolve themselves around global forces and digital innovation, while also staying true to their mission and their purpose, and the roles that technology, corporate culture and people will play in all of this. And I'm also hoping Wes will share some real-world examples with some of the household names that they work with about how these biggest companies in the world are navigating around things like the climate and circular economy, inclusion, organisational transformation, and so much more. This podcast is brought to you by Flipper, the #1 marketplace to buy and sell online businesses and startups. So if you own or run your own online business, have you considered selling your site, your store, your tech, or your app? Well, with world-class combined matching technology, dedicated brokers, and end-to-end services, all at the most efficient price, Flipper makes selling your online business simple. So to get a free valuation, simply visit flipper.com/techtalks. Each month, thousands of online business owners exit with Flipper. Again, to learn more, visit flipper.com/techtalks. That's FLIPPA, flipper.com/techtalks. So buckle up and hold on tight, because no matter where you're listening in the world, I'm going to beam your ears all the way to the US, where you can join me and Wesley in conversation today. So, a massive warm welcome to the show, Wes. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Sure. Hi, Neil. Thanks for having me on the show. My name is Wes Eugene, and I'm the Chief Information Officer for IDEO, the world's leading design and innovation company. I get to design the experiences and deploy the technologies that enable our designers to create and drive innovation across the world with our clients. So a little bit about IDEO, for those unfamiliar. We are best known for the design of the original Apple mouse and the design of the Palm 5, one of the most popular and innovative handhelds of its time. It's amazing to be able to enable digital experiences for a company where design and innovation are truly in its DNA.
Well, I had no idea on the Apple Maps thing. Man, I've learned something there. That's fantastic. It's going to be something to be incredibly proud of, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's everyone can key off of that. Whenever I mention that, folks immediately dial in, because it's such an innovative piece of technology at the time, and one of those innovations that kind of drives the future forward.
And if I was to take you back in time, before the days of Apple Maps, maybe even before the days of the iPhone, right? Can I take you back, and can you remember the time where your passion for tech came from? Maybe something that ignited a spark in you, or just a moment that would end up putting you on the path you're on today. Can you remember what that was?
Yeah. So this is taking me back over 20 years, but so, Neil, I'm the son of Haitian immigrants, right? And as such, like, I knew two things early on in life. Number one, I had to get a college degree or be disowned by my family. And number two, being of meager means, I needed to figure out how I would pay for it. So that led me to working as an ESOL tutor, English as a second language, in college to offset my tuition. While tutoring students on English, math, and reading in the computer lab on campus, the lab director noticed that when I encountered computer issues, or when the students I was helping encounter computer issues, I would solve them for the students myself instead of engaging help from her team. This led to her offering me a job as a systems administrator in her computer lab. That job led me to begin building computers on my own for students who couldn't afford to buy them full price from retail stores at the time. Those experiences then helped me land my first full-time role after graduating from University of Florida with Capgemini as a management consultant. So for me, my passion around technology was always wrapped in service and improving experiences almost from the very beginning.
Wow, it's a fantastic story. And that path, of course, would eventually lead you to IDEO. And you've already given us a bit of an overview of the kind of problems you solve, the relationship with Apple Maps there, of course. And fast forward beyond that, the climate and circular economy is such a huge trend right now. So can you tell me a little bit more about how organizations can better tackle this? Well, it's the greatest challenge of our lifetime, isn't it?
It really is, Neil. It really is. And yeah, I think a lot about this, especially, just practically. I'm a dad. My daughter is 9, and I think about the world that I'm going to leave for her, right? So our sustainability work centers around what is good for people and the planet. This is a priority pillar for IDEO, and we fully believe in investing and innovating now will position organizations to thrive in the climate era. And what we find is that organizations need to be open to redesigning everything to address climate issues. We are at an inflection point with climate change that will influence how business operates. IDEO has worked with clients spanning the auto, fashion, and nonprofit industries, helping them to meet sustainability goals. And a few examples of that, Neil, are like with Ford Motors. We've been working with Ford for over a decade, but through our partnership came D-Ford, a human-centered design hub with 4 outposts around the world that designs capabilities within the org. We've worked with Ford to reimagine the F-150 and bring about its electric fleet to market in a way that would delight customers and meet commitments for a carbon-free future. Also, when it comes to the nonprofit space, we've worked closely with Conservation International. IDEO worked with CI to evolve their leadership, work, and culture in an effort to create businesses, food solutions, and energy alternatives that conserve nature and improve human health. One more example here with Closed Loop Partners. IDEO partnered with Closed Loop Partners to create a collaboration called Beyond the Bag with leading retailers like CVS Health, Target, Walmart, and 12 other major retailers to identify and scale sustainable solutions to the infamous plastic grocery bag.
And before you came on the podcast, I was doing a little bit of research on you guys. And I also learned that I think it was H&amp partnered with you to eliminate plastic in its packaging and got rid of something like 2,000 tons, in fact. And also, I think it was Logitech turned to IDEO to set new sustainability goals when they decided to become climate positive by 2030. Again, big brands, big stories. Is there anything you can expand on either of those too?
Yeah, no, fantastic, Neil. So with H&M, sustainability is a growing priority, but isn't yet keeping up with the pace and waste in apparel. IDEO developed a new paper packaging system that's cutting thousands of tons of plastic from H&M's operations, helping the company and its customers meet their sustainability goals. In 2022, H&M shipped 100 million plastic-free packages and eliminated 2,000 tons of plastic. So that's a major step forward for a global fashion brand in moving the industry towards a greener future. Now, with the Logitech story, I love this, but I've been buying Logitech products my entire career, okay? So Logitech is famous for designing and making great things like digital peripherals like mice and webcams, software gaming, keyboards. And to look to the future in more expansive ways, Logitech's leadership reached out to IDEO to surface emergent trends and systems that could shape the company's path forward. The work resulted in a bold set of strategic choices that will benefit people, the business, and the planet. A real triple win. as much as we love to lead with creativity, it's difficult to develop a business plan off ideas alone. So when Logitech asked IDEO team to investigate a broad array of possible futures and report back, we brought our findings to life by inventing a board game. Instead of a dry presentation on circular solutions, our designers in this board game created a story about how a mouse turned into a webcam. That imagination mattered. It fueled an exploration to expertise we collected from researching with people already living in futures destined to expand. And our rigor helped us hold more possibilities and identify intersectionalities. Combined, they refined what it means for ideas to be viable in business. They focused us on long-term sustainability, and they pushed us past immediate technical feasibility to ask if new ideas would be feasible for entire systems. So ultimately, our partnership with Logitech revealed that imaginative dreaming and business rigor are not opposing forces. Rather, they're complementary tools in opening up new directions into a future demanding bold decisions, Neil.
Fantastic. And of course, although this is a tech podcast, and yes, technology will deliver some of those greater sustainability efforts and some of those ideas you mentioned to life. But if we were to look behind the tech, of course, there are entire workforces at play here. It's humans, it's people that have the creativity and are coming up with those big ideas. And if we look inside those workplaces, of course, another big topic right now is the importance of inclusion, diversity of thought, etc. So can you expand on how to design inclusion into existing systems and processes? Because again, that is a big part of this, isn't it? It's not just the technology.
It really isn't just the technology. I mean, honestly, at times, I think of myself as an anti-technologist technology leader, right? It really is all about the experience, and it's about inclusion. It's about being human-centered. A responsible design process ensures authenticity, inclusion, and respect. So we believe that top of mind for all organizations is embedding inclusion into existing systems and processes, and that companies that are successful in the future are the ones that are transparent and honest and authentic. We experience a global reckoning on race, systemic discrimination, and privilege. And we believe that systems design, can help restore trust. So a few examples of that are, one is our work with the Ford Foundation. We worked with them to elevate frontline workers in the business decision-making process. What we learned from that is, number one, listen to your frontline workers for their untapped expertise. And then number two, it's a fantastic retention strategy as increasing engagement reduces turnover. Another example of this inclusion is a project we had with LA County. We worked with them to create a whole new voting experience that's more intuitive and accessible. The outcome was a voting device, Neil, that's customizable for different user experiences, one that addresses the system's complexities and can adapt over time.
Absolutely love that. And I love what you're creating here, because I think there's a whole appetite now to move away from the loudest voice in the room, calling all the shots, giving everyone a voice. So that that example there of the Ford Foundation elevating frontline workers in the business decision-making process and giving everyone a voice is so important. And on the subject of organizational transformation, how can organizations evolve themselves around global forces and digital innovation while staying true to their original mission and purpose? And do you have any examples that you can share that might just bring that to life of anyone that's actually successfully done this? Because there's a lot of people getting called out for greenwashing at the moment, saying they're going to do great things, but not actually doing them. But do you have any real world examples you can share?
Yeah, absolutely, Neil. So IDEO helps companies, right, evolve through a design-led approach that makes the future tangible. This equips partners with the confidence, capabilities, and culture they need to build products, services, experiences, and ventures that spur growth and deepen the impact. IDEO has worked specifically with Ford Intercorp, and H&M to set up internal human-centered innovation labs. The output of those teams proves the value of design-led projects to the rest of the organizations and foments a broader company-wide transformation. A few examples of this are working La Victoria Lab. This is a design and innovation studio staffed by an interdisciplinary Intercorp and IDEO team, tasked with tackling business problems across the conglomerate's portfolio of 35 companies. It's working to make Peru the best place in Latin America to raise a family. Through Ford and IDEO's long partnership came D-Ford, a human-centered design hub that is born from IDEO's influence on the company. Ford's commitment to design thinking is what propelled the Ford F-150 Lightning, an electrified version of their F-150 truck, and the Mustang Mach-E. Together, IDEO and H&M created an internal strategic capability called H&M Design Studio that could rapidly prototype and test sustainable solutions. First up, we developed a new paper packaging system for online orders that's helping both the company and its customers meet their sustainability goals.
And I think what you're talking about here is so refreshing, because if any of us take 5 minutes to scroll endlessly down our news feeds, we're quickly filled with negativity and all the problems and so many things that need resolving. And your positivity and your passion really comes through. And of course, you need curiosity. You need a passion for your subject to bring those ideas to life. So as we're about to enter a new year, I've got to ask you, what tech trends excite you? And also what excites you about the future and the prospect of entering a new year and the things that we can chase after and make a difference with next year? Is there anything that really stands out to you?
Yeah, Neil, there are two tech trends that are really exciting and scary, quite honestly, to me these days, right? One is the continuing evolution of AI. It's getting smarter and it's becoming normalized in our everyday lives, from Alexa to Google to Siri. My 9-year-old daughter speaks to all three and outsmarts her dad on a daily basis. I'm both curious about how this AI revolution will reshape the future of work and concerned about how we establish ethical and legal boundaries to protect our privacy and data along the way. The second tech trend that is really exciting and also a little bit scary here is really thinking about the evolution of the hybrid experience. I believe the debate really isn't about return to office versus stay remote. It's a both and. The future is hybrid. And while it's amazing that, we've been able to accomplish so much remotely with technology through the pandemic, I'm increasingly concerned about how we ensure that there is equity in these experiences. How do we ensure that a person that is in person isn't advantaged or disadvantaged over someone who is remote? How do we ensure that every single voice is heard and every team member is included? So those are some of the things that both thrill and excite me about the future, as well as cause a little bit of agitation and anxiety as I think about how we make sure we do this in an equitable and inclusive manner.
And you've been on an incredible journey. And we started the podcast today talking about your origin story, what put you on this path. And as we almost come full circle, I want to ask you to reflect a little and look back at your career. And what's the funniest or most interesting story that has happened? There's got to be a few stories, but is there any you can share with me today?
Well, here's one I can share while protecting the innocent. So, okay, picture this, right? I'm just a few years out of college working as a business analyst for an insurance company. We get this new CIO, this brash new CIO from GE. Before her first week is over, Neil, she summarily fires our most senior and experienced lean process analyst, then calls the entire IT department to a single room to tell everyone that person was no longer with the company. Wow. We all wondered why. And what we learned was that she posted an anonymous blog deriding and making fun of another team member based on a physical deformity. This shocked the IT team. And the challenge here is that we all admired that analyst because she was incredibly skilled and had deep experience. She was a star player. But in that moment, the CIO made clear that even above performance, discrimination, harassment, and bullying of any kind would never be tolerated on her watch. That experience was a masterclass in leadership and leading with integrity and values. And it informs how I lead to this very day.
Wow, such a powerful moment to end on there. Great story. And I read a great quote recently that was, diversity is having a seat at the table, but inclusion is having a voice at the table. And I think that's everything that you're aiming towards at the moment and trying to do and leading from the very top with that. But before I let you go, for anyone listening, just want to find out more information about anything we've talked about today. We've covered a lot of use cases and a lot of the work that you're doing. What's the best starting point for everything, including if anybody wanted to reach out and contact your team?
Yeah, absolutely. So to learn more about IDEO and learn about how we're leveraging design to drive innovation and drive a brighter, more inclusive future, I would just encourage everyone to go to can'twait.ideo.com. Again, that's can'twait.ideo.com. And please feel free to reach out to me via LinkedIn. You can just search my name, Wesley Eugene, and connect with me. I would love to be in conversation with you. I would love to learn from you and to see how we could collaborate to make the future brighter for the next generation.
And I think that's the key there. Collaboration holds the key to absolutely everything. And love chatting with you today about the climate and circular economy, how organizations can leverage technology and tackle the greatest challenge of our lifetime, and also how to design inclusion into existing systems and processes, because it isn't all about technology. And that's why the role of organizational transformation comes in as well. And so I think we could talk about this for a couple of hours, really, but I'd love to get you back on next year, see how things are evolving, see how things are continuing next year. But more than anything, thank you for coming on here, talking about this, and also sharing your personal story behind that, and that powerful story you shared a few moments ago. So thank you, Wes.
Absolutely. It's been my pleasure, Neil. You're doing incredible work in this space. I'm really quite honored to even have a space on your dock and be in conversation with you. I'd love to come back anytime.
I think what I enjoyed most about the conversation today is just highlighting how it's not just about technology, and bringing those ideas to life and technology solutions to life requires people, culture, diversity of thought, and hearing some of the real world examples from companies such as H&amp, Logitech, Ford Motor Company, etc., and how they're navigating around all these different areas, including setting sustainability goals, etc., is so important. And especially around designing inclusion into existing systems and processes. I've recorded over 2,200 interviews now, and it's great watching this space evolve and the world changing for the better, and businesses driving these changes and being more inclusive. As I said in the interview there, I read a great quote recently that diversity is having a seat at the table and inclusion is having a voice at the table. So on that note, I want to get your voice heard here. You've heard from me, you've heard from Wesley, but it's very important for me to get your voice, your company, your country, wherever you're listening in the world, onto this podcast. And that, whether that be sat down in an interview with me or just sending an audio message on one of the social platforms, or sending me an email or a direct message, whatever it is, simply email me, techblogwriter@outlook.com, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, just look for @NeilC.Hughes, and my website is techblogwriter.co.uk, and you'll find links to 2,200 interviews that we've done together on there. So a big thank you to Wesley for sitting down with me today. I'll be back again tomorrow. I've already got a great guest lined up for you. I cordially invite you to join me again, but until next time, don't be a stranger.